Welcome to the Pod Bay Door.
Hello out there in the verse. This is the Pod Bay Door. Please join us every Tuesday for informed discussions on new and upcoming movies, games, and tech. And if you love Las Vegas, stay tuned because as Vegas insiders, we can give you a unique perspective on its history, provide insider information, and reveal the unknown secrets of our town, Vegas. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We're glad you're with us. And hey, if you get the chance, subscribe to us and give us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Also check in with us on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast.
What is a podcast?
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Rain Man?
Yeah.
Let's play some cards.
Yeah. Because I can go on busting you up all night.
Pay that man his money.
Respect is all you have left in the morning.
Hi everybody, welcome. We are back here at the poker table because this is the poker special. I got Adam with me at the table. Hi Adam.
Hey, what's going on?
And Sam is back with us. He's remote. He's calling in. Sam, welcome back.
How you doing?
What's up, Sam?
Coming up on this episode, we will discuss Dead Man's Hand. It's a Las Vegas poker scene, everything that hopefully everybody needs to know when they come into town regarding poker. A little bit of history. I found really some cool things, I think. Mm-hmm. Las Vegas mountains targeted by SJWs. You guys know what SJWs are? Social justice warriors.
Oh gosh, okay.
Yes.
People with signs.
It's your generation, guys. You and Sam, I'm telling you.
We love to pick it.
Hippies?
Yeah, the hippies. Yeah, the new age hippies. Like they have any idea what a hippie is. And of course, we're going to swing through the Topless Report, Nerd Alert, Gear Grinders, and Area 52. Keep those comments and show suggestions coming in. We love them. Every one of them. Worldwide, we have, downloads from all parts of the globe, except Montana.
No, Montana? They have computers in Montana? Come on.
If anybody listening and knows somebody in Montana, I need to get that on the map. It's almost the last one. But thank you so much, and let us know you're out there, even just to say hi. Simone J. LV Angel commented off of player.fm. Are there any all-female poker tournaments in Las Vegas? Yes, there are. Yeah. In fact, it's the big one, the WSOP. The World Series of Poker for years has a female tournament, and for years, just as I would expect, some bunch of knob men try to get into it.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Play as disguised?
No. They want into it because, of course, they feel it's unfair. You know, why should they be disallowed? And I'm like, well, because it's an all-female tournament. You're a shitbag.
You can get into any other tournament you want, except for this one.
Yeah.
Stop your whining.
Yeah, it's the Hooters thing all over again. Why in the
why
world?
Can't I be a male Hooters guy?
Yeah, why do you want that? I don't know. But yes, there absolutely is. That is the only one I can find, however.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I did not find any information regarding any other all-female tournament sponsored by anybody else. So good job, World Series of Poker.
Well, it's a pretty fine percentage, I would say, of female poker players. So, they'd have to get together in Vegas to do that.
Yeah, not being a huge fan of the telecast tournaments, I don't know of any of the female stars, but
one of them's Jennifer Tilly.
Oh my gosh, you're right, Sam. Jennifer Tilly. I have seen her. Yeah.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
You're very welcome. Thank you. She's an odd duck, though. I don't know if I want her sitting down at my table.
She seems like she would talk a lot.
Yeah, she used to be gorgeous. She's really cute.
Yeah.
But we all get older.
Well, there's always ESPN coverage of the poker tournaments,
right?
And they do focus on the ladies,
yeah.
But they don't make it to the final table very often.
Really?
Yeah. So
now, why is that?
I'm not sure. Well, because the fields are huge.
Because they're girls, right?
I'm not gonna lie. I played with a few ladies, and they tend to be a little crazier on the table.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. There's some good poker players too, but we don't want to mess with the old Asian ladies. They're like stones, though.
No, man. It's just bad.
They're
luck.
hardcore.
Yeah. No, bad luck. What were you saying earlier, Sam? What's your kryptonite on the table? Old Asian dudes.
Yeah, old like Mr. Miyagi type dudes.
Yeah.
They just-
Like if I'm running a table and suddenly Mr. Miyagi shows up, then I'm totally fucked.
He just steals all your mojo.
Well, Sam is as tall as 3 Mr. Miyagi, so you could just pound him, man. Just knock him off the chair. But Simone, Jay, thank you for your question, and yes, come on into Vegas and enjoy a women's tournament. Still at the Rio, yeah. Still at the,
currently, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, still at the Rio. A special report I have for everybody because I was mistaken. Our friend and a friend of the show, John Thorpe, he did go with his son to PsychoFest, the heavy metal extreme concert series. And not only did he go and said it was very well run, it was very very controlled. Lots of people having a lot of good times. He also included there are 2 bands, I believe, that were there. Carcass, Arch Enemy. They were actually at the concert and performed, and Gojira. But he made me aware that all 3 of these bands are vegan. Including Carcass, which I think is fantastic.
Right. I think we had made fun last episode that, the rock metal bands, why would they be vegans? They love their meats and whatever. But there you go. There's bands that are actually vegan.
Yeah.
Who would have known?
So the goats they kill on stage, they actually don't eat.
Thanks, John. Fun facts.
But again, I just can't imagine. Our friend John, he's a little bit older than I am, and he's a professional, and I can't imagine John sitting in the middle of this giant Lord of the Rings kind of mass of people. But he's our man in the field.
He doesn't look like a mosh pitter.
No. I mean he's scrappy though.
I bet
he's wiry.
Yeah, wiry.
Well, don't forget he does have his trail mix.
Right, he's got his trail mix. He's probably I can't imagine he's that. But he's our man in the field when it comes to insane metal
rock and roll shows.
Yeah,
there you go.
But so Carcass. The men of Carcass are vegetarians. Wow. Okay. Thanks, John, for that.
The more you know.
Yeah. The Topless Report. Where are they naked? I got some good ones. They're naked now again.
Always.
Naked again. I should say, where are they naked again?
Yes.
Yeah. I missed this one. And I apologize to my co-hosts. It was in July, but I have to mention it.
Okay, it was that good though.
Well, it was only because the airlines have been in the news for problems of late.
Wow.
Spirit Airlines. Have you been on Spirit? Where you wear all of your clothes at one time?
It's been a long time since I've actually been on an airplane.
Yeah. They charge an extra baggage fee for your wallet. Spirit Airlines flight was delayed. This is in July, I believe, on the 19th. Delayed on a Saturday morning in Las Vegas after a passenger who was already seated took all of his clothes off and ran up to discuss that with the flight attendants.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
It was party time.
Yes, it was party time.
Right, before they took off?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Where were you, Sam, on July 19th? They didn't show a picture of the guy. I thought maybe you had kind of lost it and gone on Spirit.
No, they would know if it was Sam.
That's true.
I would never fly Spirit. That place is there.
But needless to say, they didn't have they don't have marshals on those flights, so they actually had to deal with this guy themselves, which they did.
Did they tase him?
Not that I'm aware of.
Tase him, yes.
No, but the authorities.
What you get?
Yeah, they were still at the gate. The authorities were called. He was removed, and apparently they were less than a half an hour late. So good job, Spirit.
Wow.
They
must have drug him off like that Asian doctor.
That's right.
But dude.
There you go. There you go. So see, even just on airplanes in Las Vegas, there's nudity.
Right.
Yeah.
You think you're lucky with
a couple rug burn.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say you think you're lucky leaving Las Vegas, and then boom, naked people still.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
You got a last minute slot machine and a last minute naked.
Last minute show.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, secondly, in the Topless Report, there was a report that I read, and this was about a week ago, Now, granted, it was by one of those citizen journalists. You aware of those?
Okay, the bloggers.
Yeah, SJW, citizen journalists.
Okay.
Think their phone is a camera.
Well,
yeah.
you know, I bet you that naked guy had somebody with a phone that was taping him, and that's probably on YouTube making a million hits right now.
I'm sure. But there was a report that Las Vegas clubs, and when I mean clubs, I mean dancing clubs, the nightclubs, we're going to relax the dress code and relax the rules on nudity. And I believe they meant the go-go dancers and things of that nature. Not the crowd can be naked, but that is absolutely false. The clubs are not. I actually called a friend of mine, and he was aware of that report, and that's absolutely false. He said even if they were considering relaxing the dress code, they're not. They're actually going to bump it up. They want people dressed nicely in the clubs.
Yep.
They want people dressed at all, and
correct.
They want them dressed nicely. So absolutely false, but it's interesting. People are reporting on this kind of stuff. It's it's the internet.
Well, Jamie, you've been to a few strip clubs. What's the dress code? Dress code in strip clubs. Oh gosh, if you mean the patrons, honestly, I've minus the people that are there far too often. And wander in from the street because they're normally not located in great areas. That's why they have bouncers.
Not bad because it's mainly men coming for a bachelor party. They're well dressed. They're either
slacks or jeans.
Right, they're conventioneers, still in their suits and ties.
Yeah.
So it's really not that bad. And now, of course, couples are welcome at strip clubs. So everybody's dressed really well. There's no reason to relax dress codes ever anywhere. Wear something nice. But I love the fact, though, that everybody, if it hits the internet, there is a portion of time that it's true.
Oh, before it gets fact checked.
Yeah, there's a strange sort of gray cloud. Undead army thing that happens with all these stories, and until the light beams on them and proves them to be false, they're true, which is the old adage about the internet. What's on the internet is true.
Yeah, whatever you read.
That's right.
It's the opposite.
So we can consider it as alternative facts.
Alternative facts, yes. That's a nice way to put that, man.
That's how the media likes to put it.
It is. Oh yeah. The fake news.
The fake news.
Yeah. Now this country is in trouble.
It's all fake news.
That's right. It's all fake news. No, this country's got some troubles ahead. But
there was actually a naked person on a plane. You can look that.
There was a naked person. Yes. Look it up. Spirit Arounds. But let's go to some fun things. Time for Nerd Alert. It's time for Adam.
Nerd Alert. Nice. We're gonna jump into some poker stuff, but before that, I feel like we need to cover Game of Thrones. Because last week was freaking epic. Sam, where do you want to start with that?
Shit. We should probably start with.
I put him on the spot. Let's just start with the dragon, man.
The ice dragon.
The dragon.
So Daenerys' dragons and the undead army finally met.
Right.
It's been like 7 seasons. The army of the dead's been walking for like 1,000,000 miles.
Yeah.
They finally met up, and the dragons were decimating them. And the Night King comes out and with one spear just kills a dragon in one spot.
Yeah.
Like just one toss, like perfect toss.
Yeah, like he was in the Olympics. Yeah, I think he knew they were coming, to be honest. I think he was waiting for them.
Yeah.
Oh, because he's Bran?
That's possible.
No, I thought he was Jon Snow. No?
We don't know.
There's stories now that all these they're positing all these possible things as Jon Snow is Bran.
Well, you gotta love the internet for like all the random theories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like Jar Jar Binks being a Sith Lord, that type of thing.
Oh, jeez.
So they can make up anything they want.
No, Jar Jar is a 70s black actor.
But anyway, so after the battle, the Night King resurrects this dragon, and now he's got this undead dragon on his side.
But where did he get the chains, though? That's my question.
That's debatable. Who cares? But he's got a dragon now. That's the important part. So now the tides have turned.
That's right.
And then the biggest irk for Adam was Homeboy running so quick.
Oh, dude, Gendry.
in the span of like one shot.
Who was running quick?
So they sent Gendry back to the wall, right? To send a raven to get the dragons, right?
Yeah.
Well, that all happened in the span of like 4 minutes of the show that was an hour and 20 minutes long.
You know, there's portals. there's portals everywhere.
Right.
Come on.
It's magic.
Yes, sir.
Just go with it.
Yeah. They got the chains from the portal and
exactly.
Come on.
It's funny how fast they got there, but you know,
Well,
you got to the good stuff. It's a little bit lazy writing, I would say. You know, give us a little bit of time frame so that we're not guessing that it's 5 minutes later that, you know, Gendry ran it to the wall.
Yeah.
True.
Well, they got to hit it.
But then again, they're in a rush.
Well, yeah, I know. They're on the rush. That's the problem. That's what the lazy writing comes in. Yeah. You know, they only have 6 episodes, and now they feel like they got to, you know, cut filler. Which, you know, it's debatable that that's good. You know, you get to the good action parts. Yeah. But we only got 1 episode left.
Well, and they already leaked it. It's out.
Did they?
Yeah.
The HBO hack?
Yeah, but nobody cares.
Thanks to the internet, everything's leaked nowadays.
Yeah, nobody cares though. Nobody wants to watch it that way.
Right.
You know, and I think that's why HBO. There was a story that I read that HBO was considering releasing early,
airing it early.
Yeah, but you know what? That's just kowtowing to these idiots. No one cares. Everybody wants a quality viewing of Game of Thrones. They want to, they want to see everything as it's supposed to be broadcast. You know, and I'm thrilled they didn't pay these guys, and hopefully they'll get their comeuppance, but I doubt it.
Well, you know, it's streaming, so you get it as soon as it's out anyway.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
You know, people like to get together and actually watch these things.
I know.
You know, we're going over to Felix's house to watch the finale. So
yeah, no.
Why would we want to watch it early?
Yeah, can you imagine you and your buddies clamoring around a laptop watching hacked with a time code on it?
Exactly.
No, screw that.
It's different nowadays. You know, you get it at the speed of digital.
I know. It's great.
So.
I know. It's great.
So, 1 episode left in Game of Thrones. Pretty excited. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, looking forward
They're going to have a big meeting with all the heads of the kings and queens.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Good times.
This is a huge weekend. Fight night
for Vegas.
Yeah, for Vegas.
Yes.
I mean, fight night.
Fight night.
This will all be over by the time this cast is out. But fight night followed by Game of Thrones. I mean, there's going to be little parties everywhere.
Yeah.
Different kind of parties though.
Definitely. Now tonight's the McGregor Mayweather fight. Should be epic. Should make millions and millions.
I can't believe people get paid $100 for that shit though. I mean, seriously.
Well, get together with a group of friends. That's all I can say.
Yeah, pass.
They'll make their money. This could be the end of boxing. This could be history. You know.
Oh yeah. I don't think so.
We'll see.
With all the prop bets.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my hope is that
it's like the Super Bowl, Sam.
Yeah, I hope that Mayweather wins, because then the whole issue of the MMA
it can just drop.
Oh my God, yeah, but
I'm telling you, if McGregor wins, that could be the end of boxing. You know, for him just to step in the ring.
Well, they were saying that if McGregor wins, that it's gonna hurt Vegas a lot, like as in payout wise.
Why is that? Because everybody's
expecting Mayweather to take it. So if McGregor does come up on this fight, then that's a lot of payouts throughout all of Vegas. You know what I mean? Like all the sports books.
They've had upsets before, and Vegas has taken hits.
Yeah.
But I think last year when the Patriots came back to win the Super Bowl, Vegas was pretty happy on that one,
right?
Because the odds were with the Patriots for sure,
right? But we'll
we'll update next week. I'm sure that'll be big news.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
As you can tell, we all sound very excited about the Conor McGregor fight.
No, I'm more interested.
Well, I'm gonna go watch it.
Yeah, I'm more interested in talking about the aftermath. So that'll be great for our next cast.
That'll be better podcasting material.
Yeah, for sure.
True.
So, all right, let's get into some poker stuff. I guess some random stats, and I guess I'll start with prop bets, since Sam already kind of mentioned that on that note. And just for the World Series of Poker in particular, because they have bets for everything. Sure. It's just like the Super Bowl or the fights. You know, some random prop bets that I did see was you could bet on celebrities, because there's always a group of celebrities that go and play poker. They never make it very far, but they like to play. Yeah. And one that I saw that made me laugh in particular was Michael Phelps. Who will make it farther, Michael Phelps or Kevin Hart? and then you could bet either way. I believe that Kevin Hart was the favorite.
Really?
From what I looked.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, see, I having just seen Kevin Hart on a strange little hot wing thing on YouTube, I would say that Michael Phelps would, because Michael Phelps is more even keeled. His decision making would be slow and precise, and Kevin Hart, because he's so energetic, it would be a little more kinetic.
Definitely, you'd have more of a show.
Yeah.
I imagine that he could get under people's skin a lot easier.
Oh, sure.
Whereas Michael Phelps
easily.
would just be like, the one shot of him where he's all like, got the puss face on and he's got the headphones in. That would be him at a poker table, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. With a little bit of weed right in his
Yeah,
pocket.
for sure. Yeah. Take a little break here and there.
That's right.
So another one, obviously, you can bet on the favorites.
Okay.
And this year, the two favorites were Negreanu, which I know you.
Oh, he's my
love him,
favorite.
and Phil Ivey, who always seems to be kind of the favorite.
Yeah.
But these guys are in a huge field. So these guys were plus 10,000 in their odds to win the main event. Because last year there was 7,221 entrants.
Really?
Yeah. So your odds are
it's still 10 grand. 10 grand.
10 grand buy-in. So the explosion with poker happened when Chris Moneymaker, greatest name ever.
Oh, I remember.
Won in 2003.
And never won again, though, did he?
No. One-time winner. And in that time, the field was 839 people.
Wow. What year was that?
That was 2003.
Wow.
And he won $2.5 million.
Yes, I remember that.
All right.
Clearly.
So then 3 years later, the field it's more than 10 times that number. 8,773 people.
Wow.
The biggest pot ever, 12 million.
That sort of answers a question I had about its popularity.
Yeah.
However, I have to say that its marketing has really decreased, whereas the people in the entries have increased, obviously. I don't see much of it in town. They don't talk
as
about
far
the World
as
Series.
Advertising for the poker tournaments.
Yeah, I don't know about other outside markets. Like, in Phoenix, they don't advertise. I don't see it in LA. I don't know about the East Coast.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
if you're not in the scene, it would be hard to know what's coming.
But I mean, you're talking in what 14 years it's shown. Wow, a huge percentage of increase.
Well, all right. So I wrote this. So it's 2003 to 2006. In 3 years, it jumped from 800 people to 8,000. And then last year, 11 years later after that, it's at 7,000. So it's kind of...
It's leveled.
It's leveled a little bit, right? So the hype went away, obviously, but there's still 7,000 people that come in where 10,000, entering $10,000 a pop.
Sounds like 7,000 suckers.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
And this year's pot was $8.1 million.
Okay.
To the winner.
Oh, all to the winner.
To the winner.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was yeah.
Does he get the full pot, or does the casino get a piece of that too?
Well, I'm sure the casino is making their fair share.
Uncle Sam gets.
I wanted to go over some of the winners of the World Series of Poker and some. So Phil Hellmuth.
Boo.
Yeah, boo, right? He actually has the most World Series of Poker bracelets at 14.
Okay.
I'm
sure he lets everybody
He's
know.
known as the Poker Brat.
Sure.
So, yeah, he's the loudmouth.
And in real life, he's a dick.
Yeah. We've met him a couple times at the Palms, right?
Yeah.
Some of those big-name guys used to come through there.
Oh, yeah.
And then the next biggest winners are Doyle, Chan, and Ivy, all at 10 bracelets.
Doyle Brunson.
Okay. We all know his hand. He won a couple of bracelets with 10 deuce.
Yes.
So that now is the Doyle Brunson hand.
That's the Doyle Brunson.
Yeah, pretty funny. Johnny Moss and Stu Unger are the only ones with 3 wins in the World Series of Poker.
Okay.
Moss was the original winner and actually won the first 2 World Series of Pokers. And then also he won in 70, 71, and 74. So the first 3 out of 5 he won.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Now, before coming up in a segment about the history of it, that in the 70s. They have it starting officially in 70, right?
I believe 70 was the first year,
70,
but
yeah.
I want to say 69 was like an unofficial year.
Right, and prior to that, for at least 5 years, it was completely unofficial.
Yeah, it was real underground.
When
and
the
it was
real,
only like 5 guys.
When the real men would play over at Benny's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
so
then,
we'll run through that later.
Yeah, for sure. And then the guy by name of Jack Strauss won in 1982.
Okay.
And this was a guy that
he was naked.
He was naked. No. So this was the guy that found a $500 chip when he thought he was out. And he went on to win the World Series, right?
Yeah.
So a chip in a chair, that's where that came
Chip
from.
in a chair,
Chip in a
that's
chair. If you
right.
got a chip in a chair, you got a chance.
All
And
right.
so this guy won the World Series with one chip.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like the
So that was
FedEx guy
1982.
saving FedEx by playing the slot machine. You heard that story?
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I did hear that. Yeah. I think we covered that one time.
Yeah, the CEO,
CEO of FedEx.
They were dead, and he ended up
gambling his money.
and he won.
I want to say that was roulette.
I think you're right.
Yeah, that's
terrible game to choose.
Yeah,
God,
right.
yeah.
Gosh. Oh, I totally forget some of these prop bets. So another one was you could bet on the last flop of the World Series. So the very last hand, whatever that may
last
be.
5, yeah.
Just the flop, though. Is it going to be all black? Is it going to be all red?
Geez,
Is it going to be 2 black and 1 red? Is it going to be 2 red and 1 black? So you can bet on all that stuff.
We'll take it all.
Thought that was funny. You could bet on the winning hand for the World Series.
Winning,
like, 2 pair or better or 1 pair or worse.
Right.
That's the odds on those. Also, the winner, you can bet on his age. 27 or older.
Oh, okay.
Which is funny because that's really young.
It is very young. Yeah.
Joe Cata won a few years back, 21 years old.
Was he really?
21, and he won millions of dollars.
Yeah, barely can be in the room.
These guys, if you look at the age range, of winnings of World Series of Poker, it's dropped dramatically. Of course, the influx of the frat kind of poker weenie, has just dropped the age completely. But
it is. It is.
Another couple of odds. I wanted to just throw these out there. One that I've actually done at a poker table at Red Rock. Flopped a royal flush.
Really?
Yeah, flopped a royal flush. The only royal flush I've ever had in my life. The odds of doing that, 1 in 650,000.
Damn.
Yeah.
So you can't build that though. You're flopped out. You're like, I mean, you
can't go any.
Yeah, it's hard to. I mean, how do you
get any better than that?
How do you play that hand? It's bizarre.
No, you bluff like you don't have anything.
Yeah.
You wait for people to bet. The odds of you being dealt pocket aces.
Yeah.
220 to 1.
Wow.
The odds of getting a blackjack, 1 in 20. So there's your opposite.
1 in 20 on a 6 deck.
On a single deck.
On a single deck.
Yeah.
Okay.
So flopping a royal flush. I never thought I could do that.
You won the hand. I'm assuming.
I did, and I got a little bit of a high hand bonus from the casino.
Okay.
I think it was like $500.
Oh, nice.
Which wasn't too bad.
At Red Rock?
That's really awesome.
Man, they're stiff over there.
Yeah. They got a lot of tables there.
Yeah.
It's not a bad poker table, poker room.
But as an aside, the Benny Binion, the Horseshoe, classic poker place, actually where the World Series
started,
is no longer the room. They moved the tables in the main casino, and they reduced them from 10 to 4. It's very sad time. Yeah, it's very sad time because
they don't get the business there anymore.
No, now they just
that's too bad.
Just walk-bys and all kind of.
That's all at Bellagio or I'm sure we'll get into that too, but
I've got
the
a
big
good
poker
list
rooms.
Yeah, I got a fun list.
Yeah, that's all I got for right now. We'll get into some other
cool.
poker stuff with Jamey on the concierge.
I'm going to roll right into it. Poker, real quick history. Poker, Europe saw its first playing cards in 1360. They are thought to have come from Egypt, arriving through Venice, which was the trading port at the time.
Okay.
They were also found prior to this types of playing cards in China, India, and Persia. But this particular deck was an Islamic deck called a Mamluk, and consisted of 4 suits with 13 different ranks. So they were very similar to what we have now.
Very similar.
Yeah. And then fast forward, 14th century Europe, different styles, different types of things, and of course people came out of the woodwork cheating, and they developed what's called the European suit system to try to address this,
eliminate some of that,
and it allowed a wider variety of games and more oversight. But that's where poked its head out. No pun intended. And then one of the earliest pieces of writing on poker was called "An Exposure of the Arts and the Miseries of Gambling." So it was already miserable back in the Europe, and his name was Jonathan H. Green in 1834. He wrote about how the game was spreading and how a huge, large, and a much larger role on the riverboats on Mississippi they were playing and introducing the game to new people. And he was the first one to call it or coin the cheating game. That's actually what it was called prior to being called poker. But when he found out that the game was not being featured in American Hoyle, which of course are card makers,
game maker.
But they were the authority on games back in the day. And so he decided to name it poker.
The lying game, though, huh?
The cheating game. No,
the cheating game.
Yeah.
Okay, because you bluff. You got to bluff a lot.
Yeah, which is amazing how in a very short span of time it became tainted, I guess. There's always hucksters out there that are trying to do that kind of. Now the of course we talked about it just a second ago. Benny Binion, they consider him the brainchild of the World Series of Poker, along with his sons Jack and Ted. He began working on the idea of World Series of Poker in the 60s. And held the first tournament at the Binion's Horseshoe Casino. The game included 5-card stud, a game I'm not familiar with, Razz, R-A-Z-Z.
Razz? Oh, gosh. I believe that's kind of like the backwards poker where the lowest hand wins.
Oh, like low ball?
Kind of like a low ball.
Okay, all right.
I'd have to look that one up.
Yeah, you know what? We'll look that up.
Yeah, I'm going to look at it right now.
Yeah. 5-card stud, Razz, 7-card stud, deuce to 7 low ball draw. That sounds just too
too complicated
much to play. And Texas Hold'em actually was back there.
Okay.
And players like, as Adam mentioned, Johnny Moss. And Johnny Moss had a huge rivalry with Nick the Greek. Nick the Greek was also an odds maker here in town for a long time. And they were a huge rivalry, like ugly.
Like they would get physical with the.
And of course, one of the first celebrities out there to play of note. And this is for all you 40-ish people out there. Gabe Kaplan from Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah.
Huge player. In fact,
Adam
knows him. I mentioned him.
Like I said, a lot of celebrities come to the World Series, and they kind of key on them on the TV, obviously. So, Gabe Kaplan's always on doing some kind of poker thing.
Yeah, and he's like, he's got to be pushing 80, right?
He was old 10 years ago when I was watching. So I don't know.
That's right.
So just real quick, Razz it's a low ball stud poker game.
Low ball stud poker. Yep. Okay. All right. So some of the top rooms in town, any of you poker fans out there already know, Benny Binion's place, the Horseshoe, which has changed tremendously. It's no longer the Horseshoe, and it's sad for us. Because it really was a standout in a place that is not a standout. Downtown is still not a good place. It's just not. It's just cheesy. It's terrible. They're trying, but it's not going to work. The Aria, which is becoming more of the high-end pit.
Yeah.
But I'm not thrilled with it. I don't like the room. It looks.
It's
too
not played
open.
Poker there.
Yeah, it's too open. It's right near the exit door. I don't know. It's strange.
Trying to get people in right at the door.
Yeah, and Bellagio, of course.
Bellagio's still big.
Yeah, considered the peak. Arguably so with the Mirage. So
pretty close. Yeah, I played in both those rooms.
Have you really?
Yeah.
How was the patronage in both?
It's pretty similar, to be honest. I guess the higher end games, I get a different patronage. Like at the Bellagio, you could find Phil Ivey there in the high limit game.
What game did you jump in on? Like 10-20 or?
In a no limit, the first level I think is like a 1-2 no limit.
Oh, okay.
How much is the buy-in?
For that could be minimum of 100.
Okay.
The next step up would be a 3-5 game. Okay. Minimum of $3 to $1,000. That's where the kind of the money starts.
Yeah.
I usually start with the lower limits.
Yeah.
Because you can still make a little money. And you don't have to have a big bankroll.
Now, are you a conservative player? I mean, do you wait? Do you wait for your opportunity? Do you wait for that hold?
You have to kind of. All right. So poker is a little bit of a psychology game too. So when you sit down, you have to get to know the people.
Yeah.
And how much you can bet.
Is it hard? Do you think that's difficult in Vegas? You think it's difficult to sit down at a Vegas table? I mean, since
for the Novice player, absolutely.
Yeah.
You have to really kind of know the game before you sit down at a table, or they'll just eat you up.
Now, do you think the tables you sat down were full of novices?
No. I don't think so. Not at the higher limit rooms.
Because wouldn't that be harder?
The better rooms. You might find the novices at like a Green Valley Ranch or something like that. Maybe one of the Mirage would probably bring a lot of novice players too, as well as the good players, because it's kind of one of those medium poker rooms. They got an influx of travelers.
Right.
You could kind of pick off the guys with badges.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, right. Just take off your badges when you play poker, guys, please.
Exactly. But yeah, you can make a little money on the 1-2 tables. I've walked with, a couple of grand before.
Really? Yeah.
Oh,
good for you.
Yeah, on a good run.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would think it would be harder to sit down. There's pros there. There's people that have that's their job.
Sure. There's people that are at the same table every day.
Yeah.
If you ever watch the movie Rounders, you walk up onto a table and it seems like everybody knows each other.
Exactly.
And everybody knows each other's game.
Yeah.
So when you get the guy that does sit down and nobody knows, he gets ganged up on.
Yeah, I guess
so you got to know that going in. So you kind of have to play a little bit differently than you might at home. You can't bluff good players.
No, you really can't.
Well, I don't know. It's tough.
Well,
at that point,
I think you can bluff, but you have to. I think the pattern of cards have to be in your favor. If they're not, if you don't have the cards, I don't think you can. It's hard to say. Now, what is it like to sit down, for all the people listening that have never done it and would like to do it or just want to know about this? What is it like to sit down at a Las Vegas table? So let's say you get past. Okay, so the first thing you do is it's very busy most of the time. So you put your name down. You say.
So usually there'll be a table list.
Yeah, table list. Okay.
So you'll walk up to they usually have like a concierge.
Yeah.
Or somebody will seat you.
Yeah.
They'll take your name and ask you what kind of table or what kind of game you're interested in. And then you'll buy it. They'll sit you at the table. They'll give you your chips. You'll usually give your card to the dealer, because every casino's got a card to track your play with.
Okay.
And then you get all the dirty stares from the other poker players as you play your first hand, and they try and feel you out, right? And then you try and settle your nerves and try and just play poker, without giving away all your money in stupid bets.
That's what I do at the Orleans and the smaller casinos.
Sure.
What?
Because the smaller casinos, I don't know, it feels more like folks are on your level there. I feel like.
Sure. That's why I started most of my early poker at Green Valley Ranch or the locals places. Low limit, or low denomination, no limit is what I like.
Right.
It keeps some of the randomness of poker out, I think. If you go to a limit poker table, there's a lot more flops, a lot more people seeing hands, a lot more people catching things.
Sure.
That's why I like no limit poker as the best form. Yeah, you can bluff more if you have the chips.
Yeah.
You can play a little bit differently.
Too, letting folks catch shit on the flop. It's horrible.
You can push people out, except for Sam, because he's days with everything and beats me with it.
Right.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro.
So for a newbie, for someone who's literally never sat down at a table.
Yeah.
So you get past you get past the concierge. You got your chips. You sat down.
Yep.
And you got your Negranos and your Ivies and your all the wannabes sitting there.
Yep.
So what do you do? I mean, what's the first thing you do?
I win.
No, but you get your cards. I mean, obviously people want to get right in there, and if you get great cards, if you hit pocket aces, what was that? What was that?
220 to 1.
220 to 1. You get your pocket aces. But what should you do?
The hardest thing
to let them know that you're there to play and
be serious.
You're not a schmo.
The hardest thing about sitting down at a poker table in live Vegas is knowing what to bet and when to do it.
Yeah.
If you sit down and you don't know the math to what you're betting,
right?
Say you sit down at a 1-2 game, that's your blinds 1 and 2, and you bet your first bet's $50, right? You're going to scare everybody out. If you only bet $4, you're gonna have everybody call you. So you kind of have to know what the math is,
right,
and what to bet. So that's the hardest part for me, for most novices.
Okay.
To really know the math.
Okay. Now, is it in an I know all the rooms are different. Obviously, I would not recommend a newbie to sit down in Mirage. It's wonderful to watch, but don't sit down. Go to a local like a GVR or a Green Valley Ranch. But when you first sit down, is it an inviting scenario? I mean, is it fun? It's not fun, though, is it?
Most poker rooms look inviting.
Yeah.
They're usually pretty open and well lit now, and they got a cute girl working the counter, and they got the cocktail waitresses coming around, right? So, and then you sit at the table and you get to playing, and then you realize nobody's talking to each other.
Right.
Everybody's very serious.
Yeah.
Everybody's shuffling chips. Yeah. Sounds very fucking, like a graveyard.
Yeah.
Everyone's like so serious.
Super serious.
They're
Nobody
like
talks to
pros.
each other. The dealer is the only one cracking jokes if you're lucky.
Yeah.
It's a weird environment if you're not used to it. Yeah.
It is. But now, if a person were to sit down, a good piece of advice for your first hour of play, what would that be?
Don't play a lot of hands.
Right. Stay out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, be patient. Be patient.
Yeah, be
just
very
wait
patient.
it out.
See what other people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Watch how they bet. Okay. Watch how they fold.
Yeah.
Watch what they do with their chips. They're
like,
very
what
particular.
you want to do is learn their mannerisms.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not just to know what they're doing, but just as a what do you call it? Not courtesy, but just so you know what you're doing at the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Tip the dealer.
Well, that's my second question. Now, for a person, tipping is relatively obvious for most of the live games in town, and for concierge, obviously, but that kind of thing. But when and how much do you tip a dealer? Poker dealer.
In the poker specifically, because you're not playing against the house, you're playing against other players.
Right.
The house takes what's called a rake. And that's a portion of the pot based on how much is in the pot up to a certain amount, and the casino keeps that. That's their vig. That's their percentage,
juice.
right?
Yeah, that's the juice.
And so when you win a hand, if you win a hand,
right,
that's when it's customary to tip the dealer.
Okay.
You're gonna put in antes every other round or so.
Right.
But when you win a hand, that's when it's customary to tip the dealer. If it's a big hand, accordingly, just your tips. I throw them a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Per hand. In the poker room, it's not like roulette. You don't buy in for chips, poker chips. Okay. All right, you buy in for actual money chips. Okay. So when you're tipping the dealer, you are tipping them an actual $5 chip.
You are, okay.
Yeah. And that's going to go into their pocket or into their bin, and they split or don't split. Okay. So it's not like roulette, so there you go.
Okay, very good. I just wanted to bring that up because I knew that, but I thought the article was wrong, but I haven't played poker in a very long time.
Right. So yeah, if you're using actual chips, so if you got black chips on the table, they're $100 a piece.
Nice.
That's a big game.
Yeah, I haven't seen a black chip in a while. Okay, we talked about it earlier. The surge in poker, obviously from 2003 to a couple of years after that was huge.
Yep.
And now it's leveled off and can even be considered on a statistical level, it's on a downswing. In reality, why do you think that is?
Why is it in a downswing?
Yes.
Oh, probably a couple of reasons. The buy-in, I would assume.
Yeah. Crash, the crash notwithstanding. Yeah. So
sure. Yeah. Obviously, the money in general went down. People didn't have as much money to spend. But it's still a $10,000 buy-in. That's pretty hefty.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it dropped very much in percentage for sure. But I think the interest is still there. Mm-hmm. And I think that, these poker guys, buying a bunch of their friends, so that if they go up against them, it would, be an easy win. Mm-hmm. I'll buy it, but if you face me, you give me all your chips.
Right.
That type of thing. I guarantee that happens.
Okay.
But I don't know. I would play if I had the money. I would play.
Yeah.
You can still get into the main event via other tournaments. Mm-hmm. Satellite tournaments, the low levels. You can still, if you win, you get the chance to get into the main event, and people have definitely done that and won.
Right.
Recently, most of those guys do.
Now the celebrity of it, the pomp and circumstance, I think, has rubbed off. I think it's no longer a shiny brass lamp. It's I think it's kind of tarnished because it didn't grow. It didn't grow beyond the first group of guys.
Well, I think when it hit that peak, it brought in all these kind of, for lack of a better word, undesirables.
Right.
And that would be why it kind of dipped a little bit, because you didn't want to have to go to the poker room and spend 4 days with all the douchebags.
Sure.
True. And I'll tell you that it is grueling. That main event is 10 days. You don't play every day, but you play all day long on certain events. So, you got to have people with you that are backing you up, bringing you food, bringing you, pain pills.
Right.
It's grueling. So,
They even have the massage ladies walk around too.
Yes,
that's right.
Most definitely.
The massage therapists.
Yeah, I've got a couple of friends that do that.
Do the poker massages.
They make good money.
They do.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah. Now, Sam, have you played online poker for money?
I did before. I used to play Full Tilt.
Okay.
Yep.
Full Tilt.
There's
a controversial one. Yeah. They owe some people some money.
Oh yeah.
Now you guys have both played online poker. Have you played for money? Yes, Al?
Yes.
Okay. Is it at all the same? In any facet whatsoever, is playing online poker for money? There's that mystique of losing or gaining money. Is it at all the same as sitting down at a live table?
Barely.
Okay.
Online, you get much crazier people. They don't.
Yes.
They don't necessarily have the same value, I guess.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people pushing all in on the first hand, per se, in these tournaments.
Right.
In person, it's very slow.
Yeah.
You have to have patience.
Sure.
Especially if you fold a lot. If you don't get the cards.
Yeah.
Bring headphones. Bring a book. I've seen people read.
A VR set. Or something.
It can be a boring game.
Yeah.
That's why people don't enjoy at a casino.
Well,
at least at your house, you have other things you can entertain yourself with at the same time.
See, when I play online, I'm a total douche. Like I talk so much smack online.
Right. See, and then you get
troll.
People like Sam.
Yeah.
Who just go all in with 10-7 offsuit. And still beat you.
Just for you, Adam.
Just
for you.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, he's we know Sam. He already has a reputation with us. Now, lastly, if you're a newbie and you've maybe played a house game and you beat your cousin.
Right.
Should you come here and play poker? Should you come here and play live poker? Is it possible now, after the surge, after the crash, after everything we've talked about?
Yeah.
Is it possible for a newbie from Montana
right.
to come here and have fun? Because ultimately, these people aren't doing this for a job. They're going to go back to Montana.
Right. Stick at a low level.
Yeah.
Know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And yes, you can
know the hands.
Know that 2 pairs is going to be 1 pair.
Right.
And you can definitely have some fun.
Right.
I have fun when I play poker.
Yep.
It's not always like a grind or anything like that. It's it's fun for me.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a while just because I haven't had the money to do it.
Yeah.
But we still play home games every so often, and definitely fun.
Okay.
Just remember what they say: there's a chip, there's a chance.
That's right. And also, you can take some money with you. You can take money off the table whenever you want.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, all right, let me take that back. So, you can't just if you have $200 in front of you,
right,
you can't just take $50 and put it in your pocket, all right?
Yep.
You can't do that. You have to cash it all at the same time.
Yeah.
But in the gist of things, you can take it and leave, all right?
Yes.
If you have money in front of you, you can leave with it.
Exactly.
Do so.
That's right. See, that's on the very few times I've gambled and won. I left. I hit and left.
I'll tell you a funny story. And this actually happened at Green Valley Ranch. I came in. I bought in for $200. I sat down. Very first hand, I got pocket aces.
Okay.
Very first hand.
At 220 to
220 to 1. I tripled up. $600 on the very first hand. Should have walked.
Oh,
spent the next 2 hours bleeding it away.
Oh,
all right,
bad Adam.
and left with nothing.
Bad Adam.
Okay, so don't do that. That's not good.
You should have called for the dragon change and then pull it out of the water.
The problem with that is like you go to poker to sit down and play a few hands, right? And the first hand, pocket aces. Yeah, you feel like maybe you're gonna have a great day, right? Yeah. No, just take some with you. Take some money with you.
The intrinsic problem to me with poker, because I am an uber competitive person. I want to. I if I can't win, I don't want to play.
Right.
And see, the problem with poker is.
Did you like the movie War Games?
I did. I did.
That's sad.
Yeah. Shall we play a game? Yes. I can't necessarily beat that guy across the table. I can, but it's not really it's the factor of the cards. You know, if I was playing a game and I was scoring points based on what I was doing, I'd feel like I was beating this guy.
What about tournament style? Because eventually that does come down to a winner.
Yeah, it does, but it's the physicality of it. It seems very lazy to me. All gambling is lazy, obviously, but it seems and there's the only reason I hate this guy is the way he's dressed. It's not like it's
not like he's done anything to you.
The upcoming Dallas Oakland game. I'm sure there's these guys on that they hate each other, or they hate each other that day. But I have no feeling towards this guy. So I mean, it's the competitive part that I don't understand from a poker player. Now I'm sure there's you and Sam and all the poker players out there are going to scream at me. But no, I think
for me it's not really about the person at the other side.
Yeah.
It's about playing the hand right and winning it the right way or bluffing and getting away with it. That gives me a little bit of a charge.
Right.
Flopping a big hand and then playing it right and getting everybody to pay me off.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Now, do you get into sometimes poker tables get surrounded by people and people love to watch, and I mean, do you like the gambling scenario where people are screaming and having fun, or do you like a nice quiet?
I tend to try and converse a little bit at the table.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It can be a little dour, right? So if you just start a conversation with somebody and maybe you make a friend, right? But just try and lighten the mood a little bit. You know, that's what I try.
How about you, Sam? Are you a talker? I can't imagine you sitting down and then starting to talk at a poker table.
It all depends.
It all depends on what hand he wins.
That's right.
If he bluffed us right, he'll just slap it on the table and then just talk shit.
Oh, you don't drop the mic, do you, Sam?
No, no need to.
No need to. Yeah, act like you've done it before, right?
Act like you've been here, bro.
That's right. That's right. Well, last thing I want to mention is you already mentioned it. You stole my thunder. No, I'm just kidding.
Got it.
No, totally. Rounders. Best card film ever made?
I believe so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Edward Norton's in it though, and he plays the guy that I associate with Edward Norton.
With every poker,
no, just Edward Norton. I think that's him.
That's a great character. His name's Worm, and he is the typical, grinder. He's got a bankroll one day, and then it's gone the next.
Yeah.
He's rich one day, and then he's poor the next. Okay. So yeah.
We're talking about Rounders. Matt Damon, Ed Norton, John Malkovich. Pierre that man has money.
Yes.
And
so good.
Yeah, fantastic. But so it's the best, huh? You think it's
it's the closest that I've seen.
Yes.
To a real in-depth World Series of Poker fight.
Now, did you see, and what do you rate the movie 21, which was a true story about
21?
The MIT people?
I actually really enjoyed that one too.
Was it MIT? No.
It was.
No, they were pre-college, I think. So the one kid was trying to make money to go to Harvard.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But in real life, I want to say they were MIT.
Okay. And
this actually happened.
Kevin Spacey played
Spacey was the bad guy teacher.
The bad guy teacher, yeah.
He plays a good villain. I really enjoyed that movie too, being a blackjack dealer.
Yeah.
That's some heavy math involved there too.
And
counting decks, that's a lot harder than it's.
Oh, absolutely.
Shown
now,
in that.
I just recently saw a few clips of that. A tremendous number of errors as far as town errors.
Okay.
Yeah, they were. There was one scene where it was clearly the hard rock felt, and somehow then they did a close up of the chips, and it was Red Rock.
Oh,
Station.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said they were going to go up to their suite in the Hard Rock, and they were at Cherry, which is at Red Rock.
Right.
so some problems there. But I'm trying to think of another poker film. What's another poker film? Sam, what's a poker film?
Poker film.
What is it? Where the whole everything's riding on this hand. I'm trying to think of.
Oh, I'm coming up with their like pool hall movies.
Yeah, Pool Hall Junkies. Adam's
The Hustler.
The Hustler. Yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
Now Vegas Vacation, of course, but gosh, I'm gonna have to think about that.
Yeah, poker movies are few and far between. Maybe that's why Rounders is so good.
Yeah. It's a standout. It's a standout.
Yeah, I love Matt Damon in that film. Is great, and he ends up at the World Series of Poker at the end.
He does.
Yeah, trying to make a career out of poker.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
Yeah.
But
another one that loops down to Vegas.
Yeah. So we have some things going on in town that surpass poker.
We do.
Yeah, we got a problem. Everybody's
besides the Mayweather fight.
Oh yeah, everybody's aware of this movement. Our friend Julia sent me a text, and she says, "How do I feel?" And I told her how I felt. It may not be popular, and I may be cutting off some of my listeners. Hopefully not. But the whole racism, slavery, political correct bandwagon that's sweeping through our nation and destroying our statues. It's hit Vegas, and I'm surprised because we don't have a lot of statues.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what did it hit?
But I'm gonna skip to the end of the list here because we do have, in lieu of a statue and in lieu of a monument, we have a logo and we have a school that is we are the UNLV Runnin' Rebels. Now, a while back it was a wolf with a Confederate uniform on. That changed. Then it became the Runnin' Rebel, the little guy. I was incorrect. He's not a minor. He was a Confederate soldier.
He was a rebel.
He was a rebel. Yeah, and that's a problem.
So now they're talking about changing UNLV's logo.
Well, no, they already did. In advance.
Well, I mean,
in advance of this problem, they changed the logo to what we showed on a previous podcast.
I didn't realize that was why.
Yes, that is exactly why.
But it's still a rebel.
It is.
They haven't changed the name.
Yes.
Maybe it doesn't look like General Lee with his shooting his guns off.
Right. Well, they were worried about the symbolism, and it's a frightening admission by the college, by the university, and I think they're kowtowing to what I think is a selfish movement. These things may represent slavery. They may, or absolutely represent a racist point of view by a historical person, but they are our history, and they are certainly not symbols that are calling for racism and calling for slavery to return. They are symbols of our history, and I believe they need to stay in place because they are teaching our children where we came from,
lest we repeat ourselves.
Yes, and that is the sole reason I believe this. Plus, I think we can avoid a lot of problems like Charlottesville by leaving those damn things up. Now, was Robert E. Lee a bad person? I don't know. Was he an integral part of our history? Absolutely. And just as many subjects that I believe in, if you have a problem with it, don't walk past it. Don't watch it. Don't turn it on. Don't do whatever. But you're tearing down our history. It's the bulwark of what the United States is, good and bad. Now back to Nevada. Nevada became a state in the midst of the Civil War. Which is where the phrase "battle-born" motto on the flag comes from, the Nevada flag.
Yep.
And the process to grant Nevada statehood was expedited by Union sympathizers who wanted more support for Abraham Lincoln during the 1864 election.
That's right. They needed the votes.
Exactly. So we are steeped in history of this particular subject.
Yep.
And we want to tear that all down and forget it. I don't understand that. I will not understand that. And I'm not. I am not supporting slavery. I'm not supporting racism. I'm supporting our history, which is full of that. And so, therefore,
we need these things. And good Lord, I mean, how many monuments are you going to rip through?
Yeah, going to go through the South and just rip them all down?
Are you gonna chisel out a picture of Trump on Rushmore? I mean, come on.
I tend to agree with you there on our historical monuments, but how do you feel about the Confederate flag? They fly that, and pretty much the whole South, during NASCAR races, on their trucks proudly. I think that's a little bit different because they're currently, expressing them.
They are
like a past attitude.
They are, and I believe it does fall under and within the freedom of speech. I believe it is an action that has to be accepted by us. That is it may be abhorrent. It may be just silly. It may be stupid. It may be whatever you wish it to be or think that it is. But I think is that person's right to do so. If he wants to represent, maybe he's not representing slavery or racism. Maybe he's representing something else he believes the flag represents. But it is not the flag that's the problem. It is our people that's the problem. So if you have a problem with this guy flying the flag, then you need to deal with the guy. The Union Jack, the Confederate flag, is a piece of our history. It at one point was proudly flown. Now it is a piece of our history in museums. If people want to fly that, I believe in their right to do so. I have a problem. I have a huge problem with American citizens burning the United States flag. But good Lord, I have to say, if I look at the law and look at the Supreme Court, they have the right to do so.
To do that.
So
I thought it was illegal to burn a flag. No, that's what I was always growing up to say.
Yeah, I think it's awful. I think it's awful. I think it spits in the face of the men who fought for it. But that's my opinion. That's my opinion. And the guy flying the Union Jack, that's his opinion. Now, if corporations want to not sponsor this guy's car in NASCAR, if they want to back away from Trump,
that's their option too.
That's their option too. But that's where we are. That's where we are. But even beyond that, Nevada has, and not Las Vegas strictly, but Nevada has an increasing problem because we have Jefferson Davis Peak, which is in the Great Basin National Park that they want to rename.
Okay. What is it again?
Jefferson Davis Peak.
Okay.
In the Great Basin National Park, which is located in Nevada. They want to rename that because Jefferson Davis has a checkered past.
Yeah, sure.
Also, we have Magruder Mountain, which is named after, and that's also in the National Park area of Nevada. It was named after J. Bankhead Magruder, who was also apparently quite a supporter of slavery.
Union sympathizer.
Yes. And so, but we want to rename that. I don't agree. I don't agree that this is a constructive way to go about
handling that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, how far do you take that?
Yes.
What is considered? Yeah, what is considered racist at that point?
Right.
Or I saw one thing on Facebook the other day that had a picture of the pyramids, and it said, "We need to take down these monuments to slavery."
Mm-hmm.
How far do you take it?
And how many people walked by Robert E. Lee's statue every day?
Yeah.
And knew who it was. Sure. And I really mean this.
Yeah.
And knew who the hell that was.
Sure, he could have been not a Confederate, but a Union general.
Yeah, they don't even know. Maybe he was a statue from the show Hamilton.
Could have been a teacher who knows?
How many people walked by, didn't know who he was? How many people walked by, knew who he was, didn't know what he did, and didn't know his place in history?
Sure.
And my main point is that doing all of this, renaming, taking these statues out, they not only are you covering up our history, but it's ineffectual. It is not going to repair this nation. So,
well, all it's doing right now is...
I agree there. It's already part of history. Yeah. What's the point of erasing it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Sam's background is Chinese. Yes, Sam.
Half Chinese, half Thai.
That's right. And see, what I think Adam and I should start a movement to remove all the railroads because it reminds us of how your ancestors built everything on it. It's just that silly. Yeah, it's just that silly. We're cutting our noses off to spite our face. More to the point, we're getting bogged down in things that aren't helping.
Fucking matter.
They don't work.
That's not helping. Yeah.
Yes, they don't work. But
they're bigger issues than statues.
That's right.
And that's what we need to fix.
That's right. That's right. Huge issues. Like why we can't think of another poker film. I don't know. But the serious gear grinder, but a gear grinder nonetheless. Area 52.
Yes.
We'll end with a nice Las Vegas story. I believe it's still there. I have not seen it in many a moon, but I have seen it in the past. There is a brass plaque commemorating the first telephone installed in Las Vegas in 1907.
Okay.
And it could be seen or can be seen in the southwest corner of Fremont and Main Streets. I believe it's still there. They may have placed it up on a building because of all the things that are going on.
Sure.
But the plaque was attached to the exterior of the Golden Gate Hotel and Casino in the 80s. But I think they've moved it since because the Golden Gate has undergone some major changes.
Okay.
The Golden Gate was opened in 1906. And a 1907 Kellogg brand telephone, a cousin of the hand crank original.
All right.
Has been placed in its lobby at that time. Yeah.
Okay.
The phone was located at 1 Fremont Street, and the phone number was 1.
Nice. 1907.
That's right.
Nice.
They what I did look for, and I couldn't find it. Unfortunately, it's hiding with poker films. Was who either placed or what was the first call received?
I was gonna say.
I don't know.
Who were they calling?
I couldn't find.
Was this because was this like the first railroad through Vegas? I guess. Well,
they placed it. It was arranged by the owners of the Golden Gate at the time, and the Kellogg people put it in there. I believe it was sort of a test market for how things were going to work, and obviously, Las Vegas then kind of just continued to grow from there. So, it's a lot like Deadwood and the Telegraph.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah, but Las Vegas has a wonderful past, and not to belabor the point, we should keep all of it. Because we learn from all of it. It's amazing the things that we can learn when we read them and look them up. And if walking by a statue of Robert E. Lee sparks an interest in learning Civil War
look
history,
him up. Yeah,
more power to that person.
I agree.
But Sam, it was. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to just say, don't forget the history. Just learn, continue to learn.
It's the only thing we have left
Yeah,
when all is said and done. Sam, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate you being here.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. See you later, buddy.
Yep. And,
all right. You guys have a good day.
You too, Sam. You too. Thank you.
See ya.
And Adam, we'll be back next week. I think we're going to do a short one because I a little bit of traveling to do.
Sounds good.
But we'll figure out some fun stuff to do. And if you have any questions, folks, or anything, comments, please send those in, even just to say hi. We love to hear from all of you. And keep those downloads going. And I'm actually considering, if people will let me know, if you've noticed, I have worn a T-shirt with the Pod Bay Door logo on it. It's the red eye with the microphone. Let us know if you would like be interested in that, and we can start making those available. So please let me know, and Adam and I can make those arrangements, or maybe even a mouse pad.
There you go.
Cool. I have one of those.
Nice.
But thanks for
some sweet gear with our logo on it.
That's right. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.